How does international humanitarian law define armed conflict? Imagine a situation where violence is so intense that it changes the lives of everyone involved. That's when international humanitarian law, or IHL, steps in to set rules. But what exactly counts as an armed conflict? That's a question many ask. International humanitarian law defines armed conflict as a situation of ongoing armed violence between organized groups. This means the violence must be sustained and involve parties that are organized and capable of fighting. It's not just a few skirmishes, it's a serious, continuous fight. When IHL applies, it provides protections for people who are not fighting, like civilians, medical workers, and prisoners of war. There are two main types of armed conflicts under IHL. The first is called international armed conflict. This happens when two or more states are fighting each other. It includes declared wars but also any armed hostilities between states, even if no one officially declares war. It also covers situations like military occupations, even if there is no active fighting. Wars of national liberation, where people fight against colonial or foreign rule, are also considered international armed conflicts if the parties agree to follow IHL. The second type is non-international armed conflict. This occurs when fighting happens within a single country between government forces and organized armed groups, or between such groups. The violence must be serious enough and involve organized groups for IHL to kick in. Even if the fighting is less intense than in international conflicts, the rules still protect civilians and combatants. The Geneva Conventions, especially Common Articles 2 and 3, help define these distinctions. Common Article 2 applies to international conflicts, while Common Article 3 covers internal conflicts. Interestingly, the term armed conflict isn't explicitly defined in these articles to avoid political disagreements. Instead, IHL looks at facts like how intense the fighting is and how organized the parties are. What's important is that IHL applies based on what's actually happening, not whether a formal declaration of war exists. This means protections are triggered by the reality of violence, not politics. Knowing when IHL applies is vital because it determines the rules for how wars are fought. It limits harmful methods and means of warfare, protects civilians, and ensures aid can reach those in need. Violating these rules can lead to war crimes and international accountability. In short, IHL defines armed conflict as a real, ongoing situation of organized violence between parties. It covers both conflicts between states and internal fights involving non-state armed groups. The Geneva Conventions and their protocols provide the legal framework, making sure that, even in war, some rules are always followed to protect those caught in the middle.